First, we collected animals on our own. I remember a very early experiment we did with spiders on the blue screen. We found some spiders, brought them into the studio, put them on the blue screen, and I remember the first spider vaporized instantly under the lights. It was just gone in a puff of smoke. You know, so we had to adjust the lights and figure that out. And we had like a little piece of glass, and the spider was crawling on the glass. That was not going to work. Filming spiders was just not going to work.
If we're going to make a game about cockroaches, we needed to know what cockroaches look like, how they behaved, what they did. And so we had all kinds of, we had a little zoo at the office.
The first place we got animals was the South Carolina Biological Supply Company, which is this wonderful catalog and website where you can buy things for the classroom. And in that catalog was something that just made our eyes light up. There was the cockroach kit. Ostensibly, a classroom would study the life cycle of a cockroach, and kids would watch it or whatever. Well, I don't know what the hell this thing would be used for. They would send you 6 cockroaches in a little cup with some paper towels in it. We bought one of these cockroaches kits and created this terrarium of horrors.
You'd always keep a little water in the bottom for them to drink, and then they ate dog food. So I had this bag of dog food, and every week I'd put a little more dog food in there. And we'd get to watch them. We'd get to watch them live and eat and multiply.
It got gross in a hurry.
We must have had 2,000 cockroaches in this little aquarium that was sealed on top.
We'd point out the little pregnant ones, and we'd see the little egg sacs, and we'd watch them hatch and these babies, and then it was amazing.
Just a squalid, horrible environment.
I needed to clean out this cage and get the dead ones out and clean the roach poo out of it and everything. So if you open it up, they all run out. So what I figured out is if I took the little terrarium and stuck it in the freezer for about 15-20 minutes, all the live ones would all hide and huddle into these wooden slats and start moving really slow and protect themselves. Then I'd go up to go out to the street, out to a garbage can, and I could shake out all the dead ones and hose out the little bottom of the terrarium and put them back in. So I did this for like a year, and they just wouldn't stop, living.
And we had these cockroaches in there that we would study. The artist would sit there, look at the cage, look at how the roach moves, look at the sheen on the back of the roach's, carapace and stuff, and we'd watch the roach move and how it would tip and roll. And I mean, that's how we got the roach to look the way it looked, was, with these Carolina biological cockroaches.
They gave me some mice to play with, basically. So I brought my remote recorder over there and tried to get sound out of one mouse. And it took some coaxing, but I was able to get some squeaks.
I did not want there to be this stiff-looking rubber rat. Didn't want to make a rat in 3D. At the time, you couldn't do fur or hair in 3D. It just wasn't doable. And it had to be hyper-realistic. So I knew that we would have to get a live rat. Did not want a pet shop rat, not a white one, not a black one. Wanted a real Norway rat.
And one day, as a practical joke, Vinny brought this bag in, and it was a paper bag, and it had one of these little cat toys in it that rolls around. It's like a little ball that goes all crazy. And he's like, I got a rat, I got a rat. And he throws it on the floor, and it just takes off and starts skidding around, and people were just freaking out. They really thought it was a rat.
It was our original goal not to harm any animals during the production of the game.
There was this awful, awful day where it wasn't awful, it was just gross, okay? Vinny got a dead rat.
I called various exterminating companies here in the city, and I said, listen, this is gonna sound crazy, but I'm shooting a movie here in the city. I need a rat that's been freshly killed. Can you get me one? 9 out of 10 people hung up on me. I got a call. Came like 12 o'clock in the afternoon one day. There was the exterminator truck sitting in front of a restaurant. There was this big Aussie, this Australian guy, who was the exterminator. Oh, we got a big one here for you. This guy's huge. We found him in a crate of cantaloupe. What do you want me to do with it, mate? And I was like, I can't use it alive. So he takes the rat, and smashes it against the side of his pickup truck, just like, and kills it. It's dead. There you go. We put it in a Ziploc bag. We raced back to the office as if we were holding like some kidney for organ transplantation.
We took pictures of the rat in every single possible pose. I think that very few Victoria's Secret models get the kind of love that this rat did, because we knew that it was going to rot and stink by the end of the day.
We only harmed animals that were sort of on death row anyway. I mean, we went to a fish market in Chinatown in San Francisco for the catfish. And you know, if you've ever been to one of these places, there are all these squalid tanks where there are like soft-shell turtles and various types of fish and delicacies. And in one tank was just a big tank full of catfish. And I remember saying, I need 2 catfish. The guy didn't speak English. We were communicating with hand gestures. And I was like, no, alive, because they were gonna, you know, they were gonna kill them right there for us. I said, no, I want them alive. You want them alive? So yeah, then they had to have some conference behind the counter as to whether or not they can give us live catfish. So they finally agreed to give us live catfish. We put them in a bag, brought them home, and I wound up beheading and gutting the fish myself, which we have on video, I believe. But you know, those catfish were going to be killed right there in an awful way by that Chinese butcher. So I don't really feel bad about killing the catfish. It wasn't like, you know, there was no chance of there being a born free moment here. So we had a cat trainer come in. And she brought 3 cats with her in cages, and we would evaluate the cats that day to find out which cat was behaving, you know, well enough to actually work that day, because they get all moody, they're insane, they're cats. And they don't feed these things, you know, the day before the shoot, and they perform based on reward. You know, they love to smoke these little chunks of smoked turkey, and that's how they do their little things. And you know, it was a huge deal. We paid more attention to this cat and the various issues revolving around this cat than any other like talent-related issue. You know, we had to have, there was a huge debate as to whether or not we needed cat insurance.
That's a very hairy cat.
From that day onward, any boondoggle-esque ridiculous issue was referred to as the cat insurance issue. Like if anyone went down some ridiculous trail